All right. Back to back movies in New York City. I'm not mad about it. Caught Stealing is the latest Darren Aronofsky film in which we follow the character Hank Thompson. He's a former baseball prodigy thanks to a nasty leg injury and some pretty rough mental scars that he carries with him. The film is set in New York City circa 1990, in which we go on a wild ride with the character Hank, played by Austin Butler. And it's a very wild ride indeed. The character just takes blow after blow after blow for a lot of things that are just out of his control. And when you walk out of this movie, you like feel like you kind of got beat up. And I know that's kind of probably not a good recommendation for a movie, but hold on with me for a second because I think that was intentional. The pacing, the plot, the emotions you go through, the sound design, the setting, it all culminates in a very tiring but ultimately rewarding experience. And while that's not really like a glowing recommendation you would expect to hear from somebody, I think it's the best way to describe this movie. The longer that I sat with this film on the drive home, sitting down here to film this review, it really grew on me. And for a film in today's time when we have all these movies that are going straight to Netflix, you watch it and you instantly forget about it. For a film today to give me that emotion of feeling like I was exhausted, at the very least, I gotta give this movie credit for that. And that's really the most I'm going to touch on the story in this review. There's a lot that happens in this movie, and it all builds on one another, so I don't want to ruin the story because for a lot of people, this probably would be a one-time watch. So, moving on to the performances in this film, it obviously stars Austin Butler. And feel how you want to feel about him. A lot of people just can't unsee him as Elvis, and a lot of people are having the same fatigue with him as they do with Pedro Pascal. He's in a lot of movies. There's really no other way to say that. But his manufactured Southern charm that he picked up from the Elvis role really helps him in this film, and he does an amazing job. Zoe Kravitz plays the supportive role of the girlfriend, but kind of not, really just the girl who wants the guy to do better. I don't usually like Zoe Kravitz. I didn't really like her in The Batman. I didn't think she was a great Catwoman. However, in this film, I ended up really liking her character and her performance, and she did a pretty good job. I thought it was great. And then we have Matt Smith, who I didn't even realize that was the same actor because in this film he plays Hank's neighbor slash best friend, I guess. I don't know. He's the one that causes all the trouble. You kind of like him because he's a very eccentric personality, but as the story progresses, you learn to kind of just get annoyed with him. But Matt Smith did a really good job, and I did not even recognize the dude. So kudos to him on that one. And the last performances that I really want to touch on is going to be Liv Schreiber and Vincent D'Onofrio as the Hebrews. Completely stole the show, in my opinion. These guys were hilarious and probably the highlight of the film. I would have watched a completely separate story just involving those two characters. And now time to talk about the things that I didn't really like as much in this film, which is going to be two things. One of which, the pacing. It is a very long movie. Now, if you're liking your experience, if you're having a good time, that's a great thing. If you're not really sold on the movie and you're not liking what you're seeing, strap in, put the hat down, and just knock out because it's going to be a long one for you. And the second thing that I didn't really like is the ending. I just feel as if they were going for something that was poetic and really wrapped up the story in a nice way for a movie that was kind of dark. However, I just don't feel like it fits the character, and I think the choice that they made ultimately didn't make sense to me for his motivations, and as a result, it was kind of unsatisfying. In the end, I think Caught Stealing is definitely worth the price of admission because every now and then you just need to watch a movie like this and you really just need to like feel something and it'll deliver on that. If you guys like this video and my reviews, go ahead and drop a like. I would greatly appreciate that. If you see this movie or are going to see this movie and have some thoughts about it, drop them in the comments. I always love talking to you guys. I try to respond to every comment that I get, and it's just always a good time hanging out with you guys. And speaking of hanging out, if you want to stick around, go ahead and drop a sub. We're on the road to 500 subscribers, and I really do think we can get there by the end of the year. And as always, guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.